All right. So, right before we had went to commercial break, I had stated that there was a number of different things that we definitely wanted to be able to just touch on before we actually conclude the show. And one of these things that I want to talk about is when it comes down to it, what would you say probably would be like as far as the biggest misconception of just as far as being, transgender?
Uh, it'd have to be that we're doing it for perverted reasons.
Oh God, you
Okay.
took that. I kept thinking that they think we're just some sexual
Yeah,
predators.
well, that too, but it's also you'll have like women like, well, I don't want him in my bathroom peeking on me or stuff
Like
like
very
that.
J.K. Rowling right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
what's going on with that?
exactly.
J.K. Rowling, and it's so unfortunate because
The Harry Potter?
yes,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
such a Harry Potter fan. I grew up on Harry Potter, and
Never watched them myself, so I got lucky.
it's addicting. But she's the most transphobic person, and if you want
Mhm.
my opinion, I think her husband cheated on her with a
Okay.
trans woman. She because she I just can't have that much hate for a person, any type of person. That'd be like me hating you because you're black.
But I mean, what's
Like
wrong? I mean, I'm trying to understand.
she just doesn't accept it like at all. As she
Oh,
She
says,
she posted
okay.
she
something
posts
like
things all the
Okay.
years
time.
ago
So
and
Okay.
she posts,
still active on it, I think.
yeah, well, she's on Christmas. She shared this shelter
Hmm.
that does a women's shelter that does not allow trans women, and she
Oh.
shared it and said Merry Turfmas.
Can you do that as far as I mean, I don't know. I guess I was just thinking as far as with our country and with the way that things are now.
If it's private and they own it, then that's their
Oh, they can do
beliefs.
whatever.
They can do.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It's very hard being a trans person. I mean, even in
Oh,
today's society, like it's difficult.
it's
But
difficult.
people can impose their religious
Hmm.
beliefs,
Hmm.
and then it makes you not allowed places and being able to do things. And
Like we said, I don't even mention that we used to be male. I do when I'm dating though. I tell that like straight up
Mhm.
because I don't want to end up like some of those horror stories you hear about.
Well, and another big misconception about us, they just think we're just all just truckers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've heard sounds awful,
I've
but
had.
just to be blunt, they'll say like, "Oh, that's a trucker tranny," and I don't even like
Mm.
that word. It felt awful to
No,
say that,
that's an awful word.
but they just say it like
They'll say trucker tranny. Okay.
that. Just they, and so me still living in Longview, a lot of men there when they meet me, they don't realize it, but I'm glad they don't realize it until later because then it's opened their eyes to like, oh, this is a woman. Like maybe I shouldn't judge those people for living their life. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
like it's a good thing that we have it because we're here to like it gives us the opportunity to educate them.
So,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so, tell me this: is it against the law, or do you just automatically just inform people? Let's talk about when it comes down to like to dating,
Mhm.
things like that. Do you just automatically tell them, "Hey, this is where I am. This is how it goes," or what do you do?
Um,
Well, you've had bottom surgery, right?
I'm still pre-op.
Okay.
That's what I told him earlier. I'm just
Okay.
some people are content where they're at,
Yeah.
and I'm content. Like
Hmm.
men
Well,
like me how I like how I am, and I like me how I am. Like,
right. Well, I've started GoFundMe, so hopefully.
So you're starting to GoFundMe just to be able to, as far as to have the surgery and everything.
Yes,
Okay.
because it does. Insurance doesn't cover it.
Right.
they
Right.
do.
Really?
hmm My drag daughter, she had her entire facial feminization surgery and her breast augmentation covered from insurance. And what would have cost her out of pocket, I think, $250,000.
Yeah.
She went to Beverly Hills and insurance paid 100% of it. There
Really.
now
Oh,
when
So
I
there's particular
yeah.
insurances
There's
that
particular
will.
interest in.
when I worked for J.C. Penney's had just gotten the insurance where they would pay for the sexual reassignment surgery.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
not all, so you might need to look into that
Yeah.
insurance, and but they cover it all.
Okay.
And if that's what you really want to do, girl, I support you,
No, thank
sister.
you. But okay, so to answer your previous question, sorry to go off
No, go
topic.
ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Yes, on like dating, I will because I we pass pretty well. We don't want, I don't think we want to surprise anyone and then you
Then they'd be
hear
like, "You were
those.
what?" And yeah,
Yeah, and
I
then you
got you.
hear these horror stories about like trans women getting murdered because
Because
like
they
Yeah.
didn't know
because the
or
guy
something.
didn't know and
Yeah.
he freaks out and he doesn't want people knowing or stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I like straight up I tell them.
That's
Mm.
when I was dating. It was the first thing on the top of all of my profiles. Trans was
Exactly.
the first word.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so I would miss a lot of matches that way, which was fine. It just weeds them out. And then you'd get the idiots, and I say that because they're idiots, they don't read, and
No.
who don't read anything. And then they're talking to you, oh, yeah, I read everything on your profile.
Yeah.
And then it's like literally at the top, and they're like, no, I didn't read that. And then they want to act stupid.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
had one time a guy, he matched with me and my best friend,
Yeah.
and he was talking to her after he talked to me because when we had the conversation about me being trans, he was like a douchebag. And so I told her that afterwards. I was like, he's a douchebag. Like, he was very rude. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to block him and this and that. And then she told me that he said that it was never on my profile, that I lied to him. And I was like, I said, well, that's a lie. But then people try to use that excuses. I'm very
Yeah.
transparent about who I am, especially.
Yeah.
Even before like the first meetup, I will like double check.
It's for safety. Like,
Exactly.
and not just like as a woman, but a trans woman, like people have set trans women up to kill them
Oh wow.
on
Okay.
dating apps like that. Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm just always very upfront, so no one can ever say that they had a reason to flip out
Yeah.
and then go in shock and kill me.
Yeah.
What would
yeah.
you say the first question is that people normally ask you when they find out that you're transgender?
Oh, it's not a question. I mean, it's not.
Or is it an action?
They always say, because it goes back to them fetishizing us and sexualizing us. It's always, how big are you? Are you a top or a bottom?
That top or bottom,
Uh-huh.
that's always the question.
They go straight from talking like a gentleman and wanting to get to know you, and then they find out you're trans, and the conversation switches to sex.
Yep.
And it's all these men you would never think that it. Oh,
Right.
you would.
And they're happy about this when they're talking, or
Oh yeah,
they're
no, they're
okay.
excited about it. And it's you can
Okay.
tell it's something they do, and
Mhm.
that's another issue I have.
Okay.
If people just would just date and love and be with who they wanted to be with without making it a big deal, like, yes, I'm with this trans woman over here. Who cares? I'm with her. But people want to hide us and make it seem like it's so much worse than it is, and we're just people living our lives, and people make us seem like we're this dark, dirty secret
Yeah. Yeah.
all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's
I was dating this gentleman before he moved, and he didn't like grasp the understanding like how like rare he is of to accept me as a transgender woman, because like so many times when I date people, they just want to hook up.
and not
Mm.
fetishize you.
Exactly.
There was a time that I was celibate for years, and it
Mhm.
doesn't bother me because I'm on my hormones. I don't. Our hormones take our sex drive away,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, most
okay.
definitely.
so we have no sex drive. It's so weird. It's that of a woman, you
Mhm.
know. It's not like a horny man walking around, but
Mhm.
it was fine with me. I was celibate for those years because, and even before that, I was not promiscuous. I've never been promiscuous,
Okay.
but I was always tired of just guys fetishizing me. So I was like, I'm calling the shots now. Like, who's allowed to be with my body? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
It's a treasure.
Okay.
it is.
How do you guys feel that you are represented as far as with film and television?
It's getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot better than like the 90s when
Yeah.
I grew up and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it would be a joke on TV.
Did you see the movie Soldier's Girl?
No.
It's a true story. Well, I know about Calpurnia Adams, this guy. She's a trans woman from Tennessee.
Mhm.
And she was dating a guy in the army, or I don't want to get the branch wrong because it's actually, but the movie is they cast an actual man to play a trans woman,
Oh.
a bearded man. Like you could see his beard through his makeup. And that's what's awful. Like they can cast trans actresses to play that and give them opportunities.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When
And
was this?
it was like in the late 90s, and the movie
Yeah, that's
happened.
about right.
True story. The guy in the military was dating her. She also did drag, and a guy, because his friends drug him to the drag bar that night,
Okay.
and so he fell in love with this woman on stage,
Mhm.
started dating her secretly, and then his friends on base found out, and they killed him for
Mm.
dating a trans woman. So it's not,
That's what it was all about.
and
Okay.
it's sad because that's stuff like that still happens to this day. And like that's another reason people are scared to date a trans person because of the way people will treat them,
Mhm.
not necessarily even treat us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So when it comes down as far as to, there's a lot of religious beliefs that, okay, all of this right here is wrong for whatever reasons and things like that right there. How do you address those type of situations?
And
Because you know that supposedly, as far as with our country, that, we have the freedom to be able to do different things, but at the same time, you get a lot of judgmental things that come back towards you. So how do you guys handle that?
I tell them my God is a judgment free.
Yeah, I mean, why can't we all just live our lives as long as we're not harming anyone.
I'm not harming any, and I find
Yeah.
it comical. People think we are just now a thing.
Okay.
Trans people have been
Yeah.
around since the beginning of time. We're like in other countries, we're like worshipped as gods and goddesses because they,
No, sometimes I think if this acting thing doesn't work out, I'm just gonna like
yeah,
go to
like
Taiwan or
Taiwan,
Japan or something.
because they look at us as getting to live both lives.
Okay.
We get
Dual
to,
spirited.
yeah, dual spirited. We get to see and
Yeah.
experience all of life by
Mhm.
being trans.
Mhm.
So I wish everyone had that outlook. It'd be so much nicer.
No, yeah, it would be.
But I don't necessarily think I even had the male aspect.
No, I didn't have the male
Ever.
experience either. I never went on a date when I was male.
And I never, yeah, I never dated, like I said, and I started young.
Mhm.
I started in high school, but like medically, I started at 19. It
Okay.
was 10 years before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, in closing, because we're about to get ready to conclude our show, but the final question I do have for both of you is there anything that you would like to be able to fill us in when it comes down to the transgender community on how to be able to view you guys or be able to make things better for you in any way, shape, or form?
Just treat us like the gender we portray as.
Mhm.
If you have a trans woman, just treat her as a woman. If you have a trans man, just treat them as a man. That's
I say that just treat everyone with love and kindness and respect. And like I say, probably one last thing I'll talk on
Okay.
real
Go ahead.
fast
Yeah.
is it goes back to the trucker tranny comment earlier.
Okay.
When people see people early in their transitions, they still want to be disrespectful of them because they can see their 5 o'clock shadow, whatever. But and I'm like, I will go up to her and I'm like, if she's putting in the effort to fix her hair, put on her makeup, even though it's not the greatest right now, and she's putting her Walmart clothes together. And nothing
Yeah.
wrong with Walmart. Like she's starting somewhere. I'm gonna cry like talking about it because it makes me emotional. But like when you see people, just like treat them with respect and kindness, and just understand that they're trying to live their best life. And
Mm-hmm.
When I worked the restaurant industry, sometimes I would see these people who I could tell were transitioning,
Yeah.
and I just treat them like the one they're portraying as. I like, oh, I love your nails or your makeup, and because everyone's just doing their best.
that's
to
if
be
if I see you're
happy.
putting in the effort to really truly live your life, I respect that, and that's what irritates me more than anything is when people are like, look at that man over there, look at him, he's got on this and that. I'm like
At the same time, there are certain people who,
you can tell when it's genuine.
yeah,
And when it's
yeah,
not.
exactly. You can tell.
So currently right now, do you guys still have to deal as far as with that?
No one knows.
Yeah, no
okay.
one usually knows for me either.
I live a very quiet, comfortable life. Well, as quiet as one can
Yeah.
be being me.
yeah, being an
I live a
actor.
pretty normal lifestyle for me, and I'm thankful that I'm passable.
Oh yes, that's. I count my blessings every day. I take that with so much gratitude that I am passable because I know some friends who I feel bad saying it, but they weren't born with this bone structure and stuff like that. So
Facts.
I'm so like grateful and blessed that I'm.
There, I heard you call out one price of you said over 250,000. Is that really what it costs to be able to?
Well, each doctor's different, and I actually have a consultation with him in about 10 days for a facial feminization. And so, since he's in Beverly Hills, he's one of the best in the business as far as facial, Dr. Toby Meyer. So, I'm excited. So, for him, now I have another friend who had hers done in Chicago, and she spent about 18,000 on her face.
Okay, just face alone. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
as far as my procedures, I'm close to 50,000 on myself.
Okay.
That's before, and I haven't touched my like here up, but everything below.
Well, I think you look beautiful already.
I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
You want to touch your face eventually?
Yeah, that's what I have a consultation for
Oh,
in 10 days. I want to
wow.
get it feminized.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well.
Well, it's part of it. We experience gender dysphoria. It's something we'll always experience. We'll never be satisfied, I don't think, because we constantly striving to be the perfect image we see.
I see what you're saying. Okay, alrighty then. Well, I want to thank both of you for coming just to be able to be a part of the show, the Dr. Ollie Show, and just being able to share your stories, be able to help enlighten everyone with it. And so, until next time, what I always say to everyone is let's continue to talk, let's continue to listen, and never stop loving.